Hello, I'm Adolf. Welcome to the video lecture series on the course of building construction. Today, we are going to see about timber-based material. In this video, we are going to see about the introduction and what are the uses of timber, what are the characteristics of timber, and what are the defects in timber. So, in the defects in timber, there are five majorly categorized defects in timber. But in this video, we are going to see two types, and the remaining three we are going to see in the upcoming videos. First, we start with the introduction. The word timber denotes wood. So, these woods are suitable for building or carpentry works. So, if you take any building, we will have a woodwork on the building. Mostly the woodworks like doors, windows, roofs, partitions, beams, cupboards, cells. So, anything we will do from the woodworks. Next is uses of timber. So these timbers are used in our building in a form of piles, a post, beams. Most of the olden days, the beams will be in wooden beams or lintels. Doors nowadays, doors and window frames are in woods and leaves, roof members, etc. So some of wood buildings, even the floor, ceiling, or partitions walls, they use the timber as their construction materials. Timbers are used for formwork for concreting or timbering of trenches, centering works for archwork or scaffolding things, or any transmission poles or fencing. We are using timber, and it is also used in wagon and coach building or marine installation and bridges. Olden days we have a wooden bridges. These timbers are used. Next, in agriculture implements, we are using lot of agriculture equipment in wooden materials. Or any sports goods, it is in wooden material. Musical instrument, cart or carriages, railway sleepers, or packaging cases. So we will use these timbers in different ways. Next, we see the characteristics of good timber. If you take appearance, a freshly cut surface of timber should exhibit hard and of shining appearance, and a color should be preferably be dark. A good timber should be free from series of defects such as knot, flaws, shakes, etc. And a good timber should be durable and capable of resisting the action of fungi, insects, chemical and physical agencies, and mechanical agencies. And the good timber should have a elasticity. That means if you remove the load from the timber, it should return to its original shape. And a good timber should have a sweet smell. Unpleasant smell indicates decayed timber. If you struck a timber with any other material, hard material, it should have clearly give a ringing sound. And if you consider the strength of a timber, it should be sufficiently strong enough to work as a structural members such as joist, beam, and rafters. So these are the important structure members to withstand heavy loads. If these structures fails, whole building will fail. And the structure should be in uniform. If any ununiform structure in the timber, it should be rejected. If you consider the toughness, it should be have very good toughness to capable of offering resistance to shocks due to vibration. And timber should have very low permeability. If it is having high permeability, it may leads to the attack of fungi on the timber, and maybe it will lose its strength. And it should be able to withstand reasonably the effect of weathering, such as dry weathering or wet weathering conditions. So these are the characteristics of good timber. Next, what are the types of defects in timber. In general, the defects in timber are mainly due to natural force of fungi during seasoning, during conversion, and insects. So in this video, we are going to cover the first two defects, that is natural forces and fungi. Remaining three in the upcoming videos. This is the inner part of a tree. So we have to know about it. So the center part is called pith or medulla. Pith or medulla. After that, we have heartwood. This is our heartwood. So the center part is pith or medulla, and this one is around this one. It is an heartwood, and after the heartwood, we will have a sapwood. We will have a sapwood. And if you have any line-like structure, that is called medulla res. It is coming from the heartwood and it will extend it to the bark sometimes. Next, the round circular rings are called as annular rings. These annular rings are used to identify the ages of the tree. The outermost part is called as bark. These are the important parts of our tree. Next, we move to the defects due to natural forces. So under the natural forces, first we have wind cracks. If the wood is exposed continuously to the high speed winds, the outer surface shrinks and forms cracks externally, so which are called wind cracks. So the diagram shows about the wind cracks. Next is shakes in timber. Shakes are nothing but cracks which separate the wood fibers partly or completely. So different shakes are formed in different conditions. So the first one is cup shakes. These cup shakes are formed due to non-uniform growth of a tree or excessive bending by cyclones or winds. In this case, shakes develops between annular ring and separate them partly. So these are the cup shake defects is formed in the annular rings. Next is ring shake. It is similar to the cup shakes, but they completely separate the annular ring. So here cup shakes are partly separate the annular ring, but in ring shake it completely separate the annular ring. This one is ring shake. Next is radial shake. Radial shakes are developed radially from pith to the bark. So from the center of the wood to the outer of the wood. So this is the radial shake. Hot shakes. Hot shakes are developed in maturity approaching trees whose inner part is under shrinkage. The shakes spread from pith to sapwood following the direction of medulla res. This is how the hot shakes are formed in the timber. From the pith, it will go to the sapwood along in the direction of medulla res. Next is star shakes. Star shakes are formed due to extreme heat or extreme frost action. They develop wider cracks on the outside of timber from bark to the sapwood. This is how star shakes will appear outside bark to the sapwood in a wider cracks. Next is twisted fibers in timber. So when the tree in its younger age is exposed to high speed winds, so the fiber of the woods get twisted. So like this, the fiber of the woods get twisted. So this type of wood is not suitable for sawing. Sawing means cutting. So this can be used for making poles post, like that structure, we will use this wood. So sawing means cutting, so it can't be suitable for cutting. So we can't use for a small structures. So we will use this for a pole or post as a whole. Next is upsets. Upsets is a defect of timber in which the fiber of woods are crushed and compressed by fast blowing wind or inappropriate chopping of tree. So this is the fibers of the wood. See here, it was compressed. So it is called upsets. Rind galls. Rind galls are curved swelling of tree which are formed at a point where a branch of tree is improperly removed or fell down. So this is the portion where a branch of tree is improperly removed or fell down. Due to that a curved swelling is occurred on that portion. So that portion is called rind galls. Next is bulbs. Bulbs are uneven projection on the wood of a tree during its growth. These are mainly due to the effect of shocks and injuries received by the tree during its engage. See, these are the uneven projections of the body on the timber. This is how bulbs will be. Next is water stain. So when the wood is in contact with water for some time, the water will damage the color of the wood and forms a stain on its surface. So this defect is called water stain. See here, water stain for a long time, and in the particular shape we have a different color. So we will call it as a water stain. Next is chemical stain. Chemical stain is formed on the wood by the action of any external chemical agents like reaction by the gases present in the atmosphere. The stain area gets discolored in this defect. See here, it is discolored or here. So these are called chemical stains. Dead wood. The wood obtained from the cutting of the dead trees are called as dead wood. These dead woods are light in weight and it is in reddish color and the strength is very less. Knots in timber. The central part or stem of a tree is majorly used in the conversion of timber. Branches from the stem are removed and the whole round stem is taken. However, the base of the branches form a mark on the stem like this, which results in dark colored stain on the surface after the conversion. These dark colored rings are known as knots. There are two types of knots. One is live knot, another one is dead knot. Diagram, this is live knot, this is also live knot. This one is a dead knot. These live knots are fully integrated with the surrounding timber. So it will reduce the strength and increase the difficulty of working on that timber. Whereas dead knot are not integrated with the surrounding timber. And it shows a sign of decay. They are loose and it can be drop out anytime from the timber. Next is coarse grained defect in timber. The ages of a timber can be known by the number of annular rings. For fast growing trees, the gap between the annular ring is very large. This type of tree is called as coarse grained trees, and the timber obtained from them is of less strength. Next is timber foxiness. When the timber is stored without proper ventilation, the trees growing near the banks of water bodies and over matured trees may exhibit these type of defects. Foxiness is generally indicated by red or yellow spots. Drussiness. Drussiness is a defect of timber in which the top surface of the timber indicates white spot of it on it. So these spots will give the access to the fungi. Next is callus. The wound of the tree is covered by a soft skin, so which is called a callus. It is also one type of a defect. Till now, we saw the defects in timber due to natural forces. Now we see the defects in timber due to fungi. Under this, first one is dry rot. Dry rot is caused by a certain type of fungi that eats wood for their living. These make food by converting timber into dry powder form. This occurs mainly when there is no ventilation of air or if the wood improperly seasoned. The absence of sunlight, dampness, presence of sap will increase the growth of dry rot causing fungi. This can be prevented by using well seasoned wood and also by painting the timber surface with copper sulfate. Next is wet rot. This wet rot is caused by fungi that decompose the timber and convert it into a grayish brown powder form. Wet rot causing fungi grows mainly when there are alternate dry and wet condition of timber. Brown rot. The cellulose compound of the wood are consumed by certain types of fungi, which then makes the wood brownish in color. And this defect is called brown rot. Next is white rot. Some types of fungi attack the lignin of timber, not cellulose compound present in the cell wall of the plants. Hence, the wood will turn into a white color, which is called a white rot. Next is blue stain in timber. Blue stain is caused by fungi that grow in sapwood. The fungi uses the part of the sapwood for their food. This blue stain has very little effect on the strength of wood. Hot rot in timber. Hot rot is generated in the trees when the fungi attack the hot wood through its newly formed branch. These type of fungi makes the tree hollow by consuming hot wood only. This defect is known as hot rot. Next is sap stain in timber. When the moisture content in the timber is more than 25%, some types of fungi attack the sapwood and make it discolored. So these type of defect is known as sap stain. So in this video, majorly we covered the defects of timber. Under the defects of timber, we covered only the two types. One is based on natural forces and based on fungi. The remaining three types we will cover in the next video. Thank you.